So Paladin is another class Blizzard is trying to make mechs work in. Personally myself, I would like to see more support towards control side of the Paladin. Paladin has mostly been like even Paladin recently, and after the nerf it has been Art Paladin. And all those decks are just tempo minion based. Control Paladin just disappeared because Paladin Death Knight is just not impactful enough. And it's sad, but I don't think it's possible to make Control Paladin work until rotation of Death Knights, because Paladin Death Knight just cannot carry the archetype. Glow or Tron, Magnetic, 1 mana 1/3 mech. It's a very good minion. Paladin is playing Dire Maul right now, and Glow or Tron is basically a Dire Maul, but it's also a mech, and it's also magnetic. So why not to run it? I mean, it is a Dire Maul, but Art Paladin nowadays, say, do you want to put it into Art Paladin? Like, it's basically Dire Maul, right? So if you don't have any max energy, you would rather run Dire Maul, because who knows, maybe somebody plays EMP operative, right? You don't want to make your minion being vulnerable to such stuff for no reason. Unless you want to run double Dire Maul and double... I'm just thinking if I want to give it a high rating just because of its stats. Not even thinking about max. But I assume I should take a look at the picture in general. So Mech Paladin, what does it have? It has Kangor's Endless Army. Resurrect 3 friendly mechs, they keep any magnetic upgrades. 7 mana. You don't want to rest this one. But I guess if you're playing against control decks, you just never play this card as a 1 mana 1/3. You always keep it just as a buff. As a buff is quite solid, right? If you can, if you count this as a 1 mana, buff your minion with +1/+3, it's okay. There's a card in Paladin, it hasn't seen much play. Divine Strength, give a minion +1/+2. Yeah, so it hasn't seen much play, but this buffs +1/+3 basically, right, on your mech. So if you're running mech, you can just simply keep it until later. But you can also play it as a 1 mana 1/3 if you're happen to queue into like an Ad Paladin or like an Ad Rogue. Any deck you want to early game board control against, you can just keep it and play it. So it's definitely good for Mech Paladin. So Mech Paladin also has Annoy Module, 4 mana 2/4 Magnetic Divine Shield and Taunt. This card by itself as a 4 mana 2/4 Divine Shield and Taunt, is it good? It's not bad, right? So how would Mech Paladin look like? You run this Glowtron and the 2/4 Divine Shield Taunt. I just don't see good mechs. Nightmare Amalgam is a good 3, I guess. Those are basically all mechs we have right now. I have a strong feeling that mechs will fail in every single deck. What makes it... like, why would mechs even work distantly in the Paladin? Is it because of Kangor's Endless Army? Yes, it's quite powerful. I think you still want to play a tempo deck with these cards though. So, like, I can only see mechs work in existing archetype to just not make it so bad. Mechana Egg, the Throttle Summon an 8/8 Robozar. What the hell is this? How does the Paladin use it? Okay, I guess you can play it and then you can magnetize something to it because it's also an egg. It's just so slow, you know? Like, you play 5 mana, it cannot attack, then you buff it and you can trade with 1 minion. You don't get an 8/8 out of it. Yeah, you can attach Annoy Module to Mechana Egg, make it a taunt. I mean, it's so much effort and you just get a big ass taunt with Divine Shield. Like, it only has 2 attack though. It's so easy to trade into it. And then you can res it with Endless Army. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. Would you be happy seeing silence after you do all those manipulations on your egg? Or even better, Cabal Shadow Priest. Okay, let's go with the rates. Glow or Tron, 3 stars. Annoy Module, 2 stars. Mechana Egg, 1.5 star. Kangor's Endless Army, 2.5 stars. I think it makes just not so good. Auto Defense Matrix, Secret, when one of your minions is attacked, give it Divine Shield. Yeah, this isn't Secret, it's like Get Down in most cases. Noble Sacrifice. Noble Sacrifice is a fine secret, but Paladin secrets that are just not so good, since Mysterious Challenger is no longer available. So, if there was a Mysterious Challenger, I would probably play one of a kind of Auto Defense Matrix in my deck. Noble Sacrifice at least protects your face, which is very important. Noble Sacrifice also triggers Avenge in Wild, and auto defense metrics doesn't do it. Yeah, I don't even rate wild. Like in standard it's just even worse. I don't like Paladin secrets, so I guess I'll give it 1.5 star. Crystology, draw 2 1 attack minions from your deck, so it's like hand buff Paladin thingy. Hand buff Paladin also has gotten Glowstone Technician. Give all your minions in your hand +2/+2. I find it very difficult to survive until turn 6, and if you do nothing on turn 6 as a hand buff Paladin, you're just losing all your tempo. What does hand buff Paladin even have right now? This is basically the only hand buff Paladin in standard. So this card is for wild because you cannot make a hand buff Paladin around the single card, even if you can put 2 copies of it into your deck. So Crystology, 1 star. Glowstone Technician, 1 star. Shrink Ray, set the attack and health of all minions to 1. It's very similar to Equality, but you can put it into Art Paladin. If you want to have a more control-ish Art Paladin deck, you can run Shrink Ray, I would assume. Actually, if you run Mechana Egg, it kind of has synergy with Shrink Ray. You can go Mechana Egg and then Shrink Ray, Mechana Egg to 1/1. So technically you can run an Art Control Paladin. You still run Level Up. You run Mechana Egg, you still run Fungalmancer, you can also play Shrink Ray. It's a lot of 5 mana cards actually. But I guess a lot of your 1-drops are very useless anyway, so you just got all this useless stuff and instead you play Shrink Ray, Mechana Eggs and stuff like that. It can give you some reach in fighting against like huge boards from even Warlock. If you Shrink Ray those Mountain Giants and Drakes, they become quite small and harmless. If you happen to queue into Control Priest, you can also don't play your Mechana Egg if you expect Cabal Shadow Priest and play it on turn 8 together with Void Reaper. Nevertheless, it's worth 5 mana and it's essentially doing same job as an Equality, with the only upside you can play it in an Art Paladin. Like if you could play Equality in Art Paladin, I would play it too for sure. Overpaying 3 mana for Shrink Ray, I don't know about it. I like the idea of Control Art Paladin, so I don't want to exclude the probability of such deck being the best Art Paladin version. Kangor's Atlas Army Mech Art Paladin can be a thing, who knows. Let's just give it, say, 2.5 stars. Might not see any play, might be one-off. Definitely interesting card. Crystalsmith Kangor, 2 mana 1/2. Divine Shield, Lifesteal, your healing is doubled. Interesting. It has Lifesteal. So it heals you already, right? So you can play it, and if your opponent hits into it, you will be healed by 2. And then it has Divine Shield, so you'll be healed by 2 again. So it heals you for 4. And it's also a decent minion on board. And if you don't kill it, and if you happen to run any sort of buffs, you can buff this card and heal even more. Wow. Heal. Cheating. Yes, but where do you want to run it? Apparently you cannot put it into Art Paladin. Do you want to play it in Even Paladin? What is Even Paladin? I mean, I guess you want to play it in Even Paladin. It has Divine Shield and Lifesteal, so it's very good with Corpse Taker. So you definitely want to play it if you run Corpse Taker. Corpse Taker buff Paladin? I can see it. You can run Blessing of Might, tempo-based Paladin. If you run Crystalsmith for the heal, you don't really need so much heal, right? You just need to win or increase your win rate against burn decks. But this card is just good by itself. It's like Anoitron, but it has lifesteal, which is awesome. There's really no reason not to play it. Unless you run super greedy list, where you cannot use lifesteal ever. So you run Corpse Taker, you run Crystalsmith, you run some more Divine Shields, you run Wind Fury, then you run Mechs. Ziliax has a Wind Fury actually, right? So you run Ziliax and it provides you Wind Fury for your Corpse Takers. It might be a decent deck. I'm not sure if it will be better than Art Paladin though. It very well might be. How did I rate this card? Let's give it 2.5 for another module. And this card, even though it might not be as great immediately, it can belong to an archetype, and later, after the rotation, you can have a very good control paladin deck with it. So I'll give it 3.5. Actually, I'm a little bit hyped for Mech Pal, so let's give it 3.5 too. Prismatic Lens. Draw a minion and a spell from your deck. Swap their costs. Boom! What? How do you make it work? Okay, you draw 2 for 4 mana. It's bad. You can play a Wisp. It's good. No, it's bad, man. Like, how's it good? Anything can happen, Prismatic Lens deck. Lol. Make your War Leader 10 mana. Just a troll card, really. I think Blizzard has printed this just for fun. I don't see how to build a deck around it. And I don't see a reason to do it. One way or another, one card will be unplayable if you build a deck around it, right? Because one card will be extremely overpriced, another card will be cheap. But if you spend 4 mana to make this card cheap, it loses its purpose already. 1 star.